Kyler Murray versus Lamar Jackson. This is our next topic. Quick question. Who's better? Because in the offseason, because of all the narratives surrounding Lamar, people said Kyler Murray's better. They would rather take Kyler Murray. I'm not sure if it was you, Drew, but I think you said you would prefer Kyler over Lamar.
I would.
I said it too.
Okay, so now the question is arising again because this year Lamar has taken another step in his passing. His mechanics look much more sound.
For sure.
And just 2 years ago, I believe, when it was his second season, he said he wants to be as good of a passer as Drew Brees. And it looks like he's getting to that level right now because he's passing it at an extremely efficient clip. So right now, who are you taking? Who's the better player, Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson?
Who are you taking? Who's better?
Who's better? Who's a better player? I mean, isn't it the same question? They're both around the same age.
Who's better, but who you taking? It's different. It's different schemes, all that good stuff. But who's better? You got to say Lamar right now. I mean, the way he just bugged out, like the way he just and listen, it's nothing. I think they're still neck and neck because they're the same type of play style. I think both of them are as electric in the run game as they are in the passing. I think Kyler's probably before the season, we all thought Kyler was a better passer at that point. But then Lamar coming in this year with all the injuries that his team has lost his running back, all his running backs, still doesn't have that dominant elite number one. His number one, Hollywood, he's good, but he's not great. He's not elite. You know, Mark Andrews is really good as a tight end, but losing one of his left tackle, one of his offensive line for the year, Ronnie Stanley.
That's the left tackle.
Yeah, he's elite. Still being able to find ways to gut out wins in the fourth quarter, get his team back into it. I mean, aside from that Raiders game, which he messed up that one on him, he's really made not too many mistakes this year, and he's improved dramatically in the passing game. With Kyler Murray, though, he's just a dangerous guy. You know, he gets on the field, and it doesn't matter who's out there with him, who's his O-line. He just makes things work. He makes things happen. He's magic with his feet. His throwing arm is ridiculous. But right now, you know, I got to go with Lamar playing the way he is. He's the former MVP. You know, he's just accomplished so much, and he's been playing at a better level right now. Even though Kyler Murray's team is 6-0, they haven't been doing their thing. Lamar, with being that his team has seen more injuries, his team is not as talented as Arizona because of the injuries, and he's still gutting out fourth quarter wins and digging them back, beating the Chiefs. I have to give Lamar the edge right now, but it's a slight edge. It's nothing big.
In terms of passing, Kyler Murray has more completions. His completion percentage is higher. It's 73.8 to Lamar's 67.5. He has more yards than him, passing yards. He has more yards per attempt. He has more touchdowns, less interceptions, and he has more rushing touchdowns than Lamar Jackson. All this, obviously, he's 6-0. I'm still riding with Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray separates himself because of his arm. And as good as we've seen, as much as we've seen Lamar take strides this season with his passing, becoming more confident as a passer, Kyler Murray's had that since day one. And he's always been, and excuse me, not always, he's been able to, up until this point, continue progressing in that sense. And his arm, as good as it was rookie season, it's even better now.
Yep.
And now we're just seeing it translate to wins. So, of course, what Lamar Jackson's been doing this season has been spectacular. Because he, in terms of yards for, Lamar Jackson rushing, he has over 200 yards more than Kyler Murray. So, obviously, Lamar Jackson, in terms of rushing the ball, is better. But why I think Kyler separates himself outside of the arm is that Kyler Murray knows how to protect himself. So he's still efficient in his runs. He's just smarter in his approach. He knows that he's a little bit faster than some of these guys. He knows that he knows how to avoid getting hit by these bigger guys. Baseball plays a big sense into his game, too, also because he knows how to slide. Lamar Jackson is not a sliding quarterback. He's I'm going to try and get by you. I'm going to try and juke you. I'm going to get hit if I need to get hit, but that's not Kyler's game. And that's why I think for longevity-wise, Kyler Murray's going to be here a little bit longer than Lamar Jackson's going to be. And I think that because Kyler Murray is already a better passer and more confident passer than Lamar, I think I got to stay with Kyler.
The downfall of Cam Newton was that he couldn't protect himself.
100%.
But also, it was that he wasn't an accurate passer throughout his career. He showed flashes, but he wasn't that. Lamar Jackson is an accurate passer. And this narrative that he just became good this season is wrong.
For sure.
In 2019, he was second.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I know.
Before you go on your rant, you started that narrative.
In 2018. In 2018.
Yo.
And I've admitted I was wrong
Lamar.
about Yeah, I said it.
It was this past week that he realized, what is it, Flock Ravens, whatever it is.
No arm Lamar. That was what I used to call Lamar Jackson. That. Yeah, there's no doubt I did. And if I was bigger then it probably the name would have stuck with a lot of people, and I would have started that. I would have been happy with that nickname too. But Lamar Jackson was second in QBR passing in the pocket last year, which means he was the second best quarterback in the pocket last year in 2019. The narrative that Lamar Jackson just became a great passer this season is not a right one. Kyler Murray doesn't have a better arm than Lamar Jackson, and in terms of running, it's not close. Kyler Murray has to protect himself when he runs, because if he doesn't, he's 5'9". He's gonna get rocked. Lamar Jackson is physical enough to take those hits and actually survive them. Kyler Murray can't survive those hits. Lamar Jackson can. I find it ironic that when Lamar Jackson runs and is physical and is trying to gain extra yardage, we all say, come on, man, protect yourself. That's not the way to go about it. That's why he's gonna fuel out. We never say that with Josh Allen.
I was just about to say,
and Josh Allen does crazier leaps than Lamar Jackson. He takes care of himself less than Lamar Jackson, but for some reason we don't say how long is Josh Allen going to last. We don't ever bring up that question, but with Lamar Jackson, we bring up that question. Lamar Jackson is too good of a passer right now because he's developed that, and this year he took a step in his mechanics because his feet used to be closer together, but now they're further apart, so he's
got a more firm base. I understand what you're saying.
He has a more firm base, but when you move around a lot, passes tend to come out awkwardly sometimes. Now they don't do that no more.
He's more sound in his mechanics.
Imagine if Lamar Jackson had DeAndre Hopkins.
That's what I've been saying the whole time.
Imagine if he had that luxury that Kyler Murray has.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he just had a Christian Kirk alongside Marquise Brown, even if he just had Christian Kirk and Brown in Hollywood, just imagine what that can do. Lamar Jackson is already the best dual threat quarterback of all time. He's better than Michael Vick. It's not even a debate. Nobody should be debating that.
You gotta stop.
He's better than Michael Vick.
Why? Because of the numbers?
Yo, I'm a big Michael Vick fan. I think Lamar Jackson.
Lamar's better than Michael Vick.
Rushing the ball, it's
passing.
That's where that is egregious.
Have you seen Michael Vick's completion percentage?
I knew you was gonna go to the numbers.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just asking you.
It's close because in terms of running, Michael Vick was a dog too.
No, forget about that. Obviously, Michael Vick's arm
Michael Vick had a cannon,
amazing.
Bro. You saw him play for the
Eagles. Michael Vick is
not. I don't know about that one.
Michael Vick is not as accurate as a quarterback as Lamar Jackson. And this year, you look at the numbers. Kyler Murray's winning in most of the raw numbers against Lamar Jackson, but Lamar, he shattered every single narrative there is to shatter. You can't come from behind. He has 3 game-winning drives and 3 fourth-quarter comebacks this season alone. Can't win in the playoffs. He won in the playoffs this past season. He's already won an MVP. Those are all things Kyler Murray hasn't done yet. Outside of come back and close games, he hasn't been to the playoffs. He hasn't won an MVP. He was in a race last year. He was in a race last year. He fizzled out and got out of it. He hasn't done what Lamar Jackson has done. The only reason why people started that conversation is because Kyler Murray has a better arm, quote unquote. But that's not even true now. Lamar Jackson's a better passer. He's the better quarterback. And that completion percentage number, I mean, goddamn, look at how the Ravens and the Cardinals play. They're 2 complete different offenses. They asked Lamar Jackson to do way more in the Ravens system than they asked Kyler to do in Arizona. Kyler's throwing RPO, short passes, screens. Lamar is throwing the ball down the field more.
But he has more.
Kyler Murray leads the league in 20-yard touchdowns.
And his yards per attempt is more than Lamar's.
What are you talking about?
His yards per attempt are more than Lamar's because Arizona has such a great and efficient offense in the way that they take these little chunks. They take the little chunks slowly and slowly. A screen to Christian Kirk, a screen to DeAndre Hopkins. They get it going with the short passing, then they take a deep shot. With Lamar and the Ravens, they're throwing posts off rip. You know, that's not Arizona. Like, for example, versus the Browns in that Browns game, they were at the 10-yard line, at the goal line in the red zone. Kyler Murray threw a screen to DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins had 2 defenders in front of him, made them both miss, and scored a touchdown 10 yards after the catch. On the stat sheet, it shows that's 10 yards for Kyler Murray. But who created those 10 yards? That was DeAndre Hopkins.
There's also a play against the Rams where Kyler Murray threw a 40-yard TD to AJ Green. What does that show?
And how many? And
what
you love to stand by Hollywood Brown being this great.
No, I'd love to hear where he's going with this.
How many touchdowns has he dropped this year?
Are you?
How many big plays has he dropped this year?
He's only dropped 3 touchdowns. They were all in one game.
He's dropped 3 touchdowns. He's dropped 3 touchdowns. That's a hat trick.
He's gassing it off one game.
That is a lot, though.
Because right now, Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown, I'm taking that over just DeAndre Hopkins. And tell me I'm wrong.
But Kyler doesn't have just DeAndre Hopkins.
You want to know why that is? Because Kyler Murray is like that. He's made Christian Kirk.
Wait. Because Kyler's like that, Christian Kirk is good.
You got to explain
He made Christian Kirk, if Christian Kirk really was like that, he would have taken off year 1. Kyler Murray has made
his rookie season.
Kyler Murray has made Christian Kirk what he is. AJ Green is having a renaissance because of Kyler Murray.
You called him washed before the season
started. Is AJ Green having a renaissance because of Kyler Murray or because
he's playing opposite of DeAndre?
He was taught. Well, that has a lot to do with it.
That's the only thing I would say.
If we saw him last year in Cincinnati, there was footage of AJ Green quitting on plays. He clearly didn't want to be there. I think now he's just in a place where he wants to play football.
Wow. You literally said before the season started that he's washed.
Is AJ Green a top 10 receiver in the league?
No.
Okay, he's not what he used to be, but he's still a serviceable receiver.
I mean,
is he
not a bad number two?
Sammy Watkins or AJ Green? Who's better? That's a toss up.
Yeah, it is. I kind of like AJ
Green. If that's
Green
a toss up, then that only goes to because obviously the D Hop
Christian Kirk was a top 5 receiver against man-to-man coverage this year, early in the year. I mean, it's not like
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray's helping him run routes and getting separation.
It's a one-on-one. Kyler Murray knows how to throw the football. Put it in spots where the defender can't.
Who's guarding him though? He's probably getting the 3rd or the 4th best cornerback.
Yeah,
I mean, if we're just gonna
in the slot.
So, everything's just Kyler Murray.
No,
Kirk is a good player because Kyler Murray.
I don't like the fact that you said this is one thing that did bother me. You said Lamar, he walked into the league, he made the playoffs, then he got MVP, then he won a playoff game, and Kyler didn't do that. When Lamar walked in, it was a completely different situation with his team. His team was already established. When Kyler walked in, Arizona was in a big rebuild mode.
When Lamar walked in, Joe Flacco had a losing record.
But they were 1-4, right?
No,
they weren't 1-4.
What was their record when he stepped in for Joe Flacco?
I don't remember, but they were a lot more established than Arizona. Arizona was in a complete rebuild.
Ravens were not going to make
Kyler Murray was a top 4 pick.
But they weren't making the playoffs with Joe Flacco that year.
But Kyler Murray was a top 4 pick, bro.
I was positive that they might have lost.
He was the first pick in the draft.
So that's like they were in complete rebuild.
And Joe Flacco was playing bad. That's why they obviously made the change, right? Because he was just playing horrible.
No, he got hurt. They were 5-4.
They were 5-4.
They were 5-4.
Okay.
Joe Flacco was not leading that team to the playoffs. The reason Lamar Jackson the reason why Lamar Jackson got inserted in was because the offense needed a spark, and he created a spark. And that year, he wasn't that amazing of a passer, but in the second year, he took a gigantic leap, unanimous MVP. In his 3rd year, took another leap. But Kyler Murray, the situation he got drafted into which was much worse. But Cliff Kingsbury deserves a lot of credit for turning that around as well.
But they go hand in hand
like that since year 1.
And in
Kyler
Cliff's,
did have a good rookie year.
He did.
I remember that.
And in Cliff's Arizona's second year with Kyler, they did get him DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
so they made it a case immediately. Let's get this guy an elite receiver. They didn't do that. They still haven't done that with Lamar Jackson.
In year 1, he didn't have D-Hop, and he still was rookie of the year. Obviously, put up a great rookie season.
That rookie, he was good. Was he better than Baker his rookie year? He wasn't.
Given rushing and taking rushing into account, I'm taking Kyler.
Baker had the better rookie year. I mean, Baker won it over Saquon. And Saquon was his electric his rookie season. You know, Kyler, who he's going up against in that rookie of the year race. I'm not trying to take it. Was it just
I apologize.
You're right. Was Joe Burrow.
You're right.
I'm not trying to take anything away from Kyler Murray, but when your competition is Daniel Jones and Drew Lock, I mean, what do you expect? You have no competition at the quarterback position.
What does that have to do with the numbers he still put up?
Kyler Murray's numbers
and the success that he had.
Kyler's numbers losing record.
7 and 9 is not that bad, though.
I don't think that matters in the offense.
Kyler Murray's numbers were good,
but they weren't
rookie season 2, 7 and 9. That's bad.
That's not.
They were good, but they weren't great. His numbers were good.
He was the number 1 pick, which means they were the worst team in the league before that, and then they go up to 7 and 9 with Kyler Murray. That's pretty good, bro. That's a big jump.
Rookie season, he threw for 37-22, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Let me see how many rushing yards and rushing touchdowns he had. If that's not, pull up Baker's. Did he have 3,700?
Baker might have had a better rookie year.
I mean, he broke the record for most touchdowns as a rookie.
There's nothing wrong with that, though. Baker was tough his rookie year.
Yeah, Kyler's obviously better than Baker right now, but we're just talking about the rookie season.
He had 4 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, now Baker is
544.
For example, you mentioned that first overall pick thing. Okay, just because you were the first pick doesn't mean your team doesn't have talent. Baker was the first pick. He got drafted to Cleveland. They won 7 games that first year, too.
That's good.
I know. But I'm saying Arizona, it's not like they lack talent, but that second year they brought in DeAndre Hopkins for him, and they started to add more talent. Buda Baker started to show out even more.
Oh, no, of course.
So this is Kyler's third year. In Kyler's second year last year, did we not expect them to make the playoffs? I know I did. I picked them to make the playoffs.
They went 10-6, right?
9-7. Or it was 8-8 or 9-7.
I don't think I expected it, but I expected them to be better than their rookie year. I don't remember if I
threw for 37-25. Kyler threw for 37-22. So he threw for 3 more yards.
Baker broke the rookie touchdown record.
And I'll tell you that Kyler Murray did not have Jarvis Landry.
Are you serious, bro?
Jarvis Landry was like that season.
But I thought you were going to say somebody else, like a Odell.
Please
or like
don't talk,
Micah Evans.
King.
No, you said Jarvis Landry.
Do me a solid.
I'm gonna just be honest. If you're gonna just use players to discredit other people's accomplishments, I'm not even going to entertain this argument.
What you just did was say that he's playing with DeAndre Hopkins. Lamar is playing with Hollywood and Mark Andrews.
He's a top 3 receiver. Hold up. You said you'd rather have Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown than DeAndre Hopkins. That's what you said.
Right now, yes, I would.
So you'd rather have the duo of Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown over having DeAndre Hopkins. Why right now? Because he's hurt?
Because because right now Hollywood and Mark Andrews are playing amazing right now.
So you'd rather have them two than DeAndre Hopkins?
As of right now, yes.
So if you're starting a football team, you have your quarterback established. If you need a weapon, you're taking Andrews and Hollywood over DeAndre Hopkins.
Am I getting that duo? I'm getting that duo or DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes.
You get Hopkins, you get a serviceable tight end.
See, that's not the question.
You get Tyler Croft.
Because give him Max Williams.
I'll give him Max Williams. Okay. He's okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you Dan Arnold.
You're getting D-Hop, bro. Why would you take Hollywood and Andrews over D-Hop?
I'm saying the combination right now of Andrews and Hollywood has obviously had the success this season.
But
Why would I look at just DeAndre Hopkins? Obviously, he impacts the game the way he does. But I'm going to get 2 players now that can give me what I need to win a game.
I don't know.
I don't think that's a fair question. You're putting 2 against 1. I think you have to look at their whole.
But the two is not. Even if you put them together, like they're not D-Hop.
Yeah, and the reason.
No, Kyler Murray definitely has better weapons.
And the only reason you brought that up is because you wanted to shred my argument.
Not really at all. But you're the one that said that. That's what I'm saying. That you're saying that he's playing with Kyler.
Said that. I said because that's a fact. He's playing with an elite receiver, a number 1 receiver. Mm-hmm. Hollywood isn't a number 1. He's
good.
He's an upper end wide receiver too. Low end number 1.
He's good.
He's not an elite wide receiver number 1.
You're telling me right now he's not at a wide receiver 1 right now?
A low end 1. He's not a high end 1. Is he a top 15 receiver in the league
right now?
Is he a top 10 receiver in the league?
Yes.
Rivs, he's better than Corey Davis.
Receiver in the league?
Joel, is he better than Corey Davis?
It's a lot of hot takes.
Bro, close your eyes and say yes.
It's a lot of hot takes going on right now.
This is what I'm saying. Because you said, when I said he has Hopkins, and you said, I'd rather have Hollywood and Andrews. Well, I'd rather have Hopkins, Kirk, Moore, Green, Max Williams.
And why is that?
And I'd rather have.
And why is that?
And the Cardinals have an elite offensive line. It's a stone wall. Rodney Hudson has changed. It's a stone wall.
For sure.
Ravens don't have that. They're dealing with the most injuries in football right now.
They
don't have it because of injuries.
Literally just happened.
No, not even that. Because Ronnie Stanley was there. He was healthy. Their offensive line is bad.
So this year's just been bad.
Their offensive line has just been bad. Okay. Villanueva hasn't been good. Ben Powers has been good. Bradley Bozeman hasn't been good.
Okay. Because last year they had an elite offensive line.
Their offensive line has been dropping down ever since Marshall Yanda has retired. And Orlando Brown got traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. So when we look at Kyler Murray, an elite offensive line, way better than Lamar's, elite supporting cast. His supporting cast is better than Baltimore's. And you can't even use the running back debate because all of their running backs are injured. I'd rather take Chase Edmonds and James Conner over anybody Baltimore has. Yep. So Lamar is at a disadvantage and still has his team at 5-1 and has led 3 comebacks. This year, I don't, in terms of sheer value and what you bring to your team, it's Lamar Jackson. There's no debate. And in terms of who's a better quarterback, it's Lamar Jackson.
Can't agree there.
I guarantee you put Lamar Jackson on Arizona, we look at them much more dangerously as a team.
You really think so?
Yeah.
How so? They're 6-0.
Because Lamar,
how much more dangerous can you be at 6-0?
Come on.
You can be That would garner you the respect of everybody.
With Lamar?
Yes, I think
I respect him now with Kyler Murray.
Of course I do. But I just think if you put Lamar Jackson in Arizona and you swap Kyler, I think that's a better offense. And I love Kyler Murray, but I just don't think
Kyler Murray have this O-line last season?
No, but he had.
And what did he do last season?
Last season he had a top 5 pass blocking offensive line. You didn't know that, right? Okay. So Kyler Murray.
So then what him doing the stuff that he does with his legs, what happens when that breaks down? Right? Like when that O-line breaks down and he has to go and scramble. We're not giving him the credit because he's able to move outside the pocket.
When did I discredit him?
You're saying he's got a top 5 pass blocking.
He did.
Is it not to his credit?
Somewhat, but I don't know if those stats are measured that way. You know, I don't know if those stats take into account Kyler running around.
Stat.
It's the best stat we have available. You know, do you have a better stat?
I'm gonna start using that.
Do you have a better stat that I can use that we can,
Kyler Murray's rushing yards, his passing yards.
All Lamar Jackson has better than that, right?
And
this is the
sense?
debate.
This year, no, it's not.
And passing is definitely
In passing, it's down the board.
No, you said rushing though. You said
rushing.
rushing.
I'm saying combined. I'm saying combined.
No, rushing for their career has been close. This is Lamar.
No, without a doubt. Touchdowns, it's close.
But you started this argument by saying we're not going to give Kyler the credit of running around. Lamar Jackson can do that
for sure.
So the things you're telling me Kyler can do, Lamar Jackson can do it better.
Last season, I don't know about that. Throwing on the run.
Don't do it.
Throwing on the run. Throwing on the run.
Kyler's
Kyler has that.
Yeah, for sure.
But Lamar Jackson getting out the pocket, yeah, he could do that
for sure.
Like it's not like Kyler can just do that. I'm just saying this year he has an elite offensive line. Last year he had an elite offensive line, pass blocking wise.
He is a reason to that though, because obviously.
When did I say he wasn't?
But I'm just saying.
But the stats are the stats. And your argument to everything I say can't just be, well, it's because that's not the right stat.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
No, because I'm telling you their offensive line was great at pass blocking last year.
And I'm saying and you're just saying him.
It's just Kyler. It's because Kyler Murray though.
Correct.
This is the first time Kyler's had a great team around.
Last year he had a great team.
That was a great team.
I disagree.
Yes.
That defense was garbage.
They started out what 3-0. They started out.
3-0 don't really mean okay for that. All right.
No, stop it.
Their defense was garbage.
What'd you say? They were amazing. What'd you say? What was the word that you just used?
Defense was great. It was a great defense.
They weren't a great team though as a collection though last year.
Even when Chandler Jones went down, Hassan Reddick stepped up.
Their rush defense.
So they're the same.
So
do you think they were better than they were last year? This team.
They're better this year.
So
on
this is an elite
defense because of J.J. Watt, but their secondary on paper at least was better last year. And I think because of the additions of Zaven Collins and the guys they had, you can and Isaiah Simmons' development. You can make the case for this year, but their defense wasn't garbage last year.
I wouldn't say garbage. It wasn't what I wouldn't say it was amazing. Wasn't great.
Where do you think they ranked last year?
If I had to really guess,
I'll say 19.
I was going to say 18.
I was thinking 18.
Hey, there we go. They're in the 20s.
12th. So they were okay. So they weren't.
That's
they were garbage
defense.
though. Okay.
Shout out
to
Arizona.
All right. So I'm just saying, if you're gonna debate Kyler and Lamar, come prepared because Kyler has not been playing with complete trash.
I said with some facts. I came prepared.
What? I didn't hear a fact you said.
What are you talking about?
All you said was Kyler. All you said was
the facts I didn't say.
All you said was that Kyler moves. You didn't give me one stat.
No, he did. He said
outside of the passing thing.
He has more rushing touchdowns than him this season, and obviously Lamar is the better rusher, but he has more rushing touchdowns than he does. Passing, it's down the board. Kyler Murray. His team is 6-0. He's played against your Super Bowl
quarterback
favorite.
Is a wins. Wins is a quarterback stat. You think wins is a quarterback stat?
It definitely helps the margin. I wouldn't say it's
who impacts the game the most, King.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm asking you. Who impacts the game the most?
What would Tom
you know the
Brady
game?
say?
Given, I don't think wins is a quarterback stat though. I know quarterback is the most meaningful position, but it's not a quarterback stat.
So what does it do?
So then, all right, no, fine. I'll just take every single passing category that he has over Lamar, which is every single one.
Okay.
I'll take
and
that.
then do that and compare that to Lamar Jackson's unanimous MVP season.
I'll do that at the end of this year when Kyler Murray potentially is unanimous MVP.
If wins is a quarterback stat, you're telling me Jimmy Garoppolo's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
No, but he's solid. And they're not winning right now.
But he's not even some people would say he's not. He shouldn't even be starting. It should be Trey Lance.
But I think it holds some merit. I wouldn't say it's the end all be all, but winning holds some merit.
I just think when you play, football is the ultimate team game. That's what it's.
But you
always
definitely
been.
get a little edge when you play with different quarterbacks.
50% offense, 50% defense, and let's just do numbers, right? If half of the time the defense is on the field and half of the time the offense is on the field, that means the quarterback affects 50% of the game in reasonably 50% of the game, right? Then I tell you, well, 40% of the plays are running plays. That means the quarterback really only has about 30% of control of the game. So, I mean, that's a pretty low percentage when we're talking about a team game. I think wins is not a quarterback.
I'll give you an even better one. If you take out Patrick Mahomes on their championship run and you put in a regular quarterback, what do they do?
That's a different
what do they
conversation.
do? Well, what do they do?
They might not make the playoffs.
So then why doesn't winning?
Well, they made it with Alex Smith.
But then why doesn't winning play a part if one
Alex
quarterback can impact
though.
winning like
this
that?
This is the thing. Quarterbacks elevate a team.
Which goes into winning, though.
There's no doubt about that. But wins in general is not a quarterback stat. That is just not. There's too much variables in football.
Tough.
It's a team game.
In
the NBA, one guy, LeBron, can impact the entire game on both ends at all times. Football, you can't do that.
I get it, but when you it's because then if you got a quarterback and you're not winning games, what am I looking at him? Why I see my quarterback?
So Matthew Stafford in Detroit. So it was his fault then. That's what you're telling me.
No,
I mean, it's not his fault. But if you're not winning, eventually,
I'm not down. Hold up. I said he was going to have a top 10 quarterback season. I said he was going to have an MVP-like season. I just said I don't trust him in the playoffs because he hasn't had big games like that. I know Matthew Stafford is a great and elite talent. There's no doubt about that. In Detroit, he lost games. Wasn't because of him, because of the team, because football
so
is
you just said it wasn't because of him, but you
game.
just said you don't trust him. But you just said it wasn't because of him.
I don't trust him in the playoffs.
Because
he hasn't been in a bunch of big games in his career, and that's a fair assessment. But in terms of Detroit, we know that he wasn't the problem at all in Detroit. So that's why I'm saying just because his win-loss record against winning teams in Detroit was like 5-80 something.
Right.
I don't look at that and say, "Wow, Stafford is garbage."
I wouldn't say
I don't say that.
Garbage,
I don't say he's bad. I say, "Damn, the Detroit Lions suck." Because I think wins is a team thing. It's not just a quarterback. The Detroit
Lions suck, but at some point you gotta look at the quarterback at one point and be like, "Bro, it can't just be the team. Some blame has to be to you." Like some blame has to be.
You're saying Stafford deserves some of that blame?
I'm saying in general. I'm not even. Stafford is a rare situation.
Quarterbacks definitely they elevate your team, but to just look at a win-loss column and say, this is the end all be all. I don't think winning is a quarterback stat. It's a reflection of your team.
So then let's look at every passing stat that Kyler Murray has over Lamar
this season, not last season or the year before.
You can go last season. I'm sure passing stats that Kyler has it over Lamar. I'm sure of it.
I doubt it.
Last season, he's talking about his MVP season. We'll go at the end of this year
because we're gonna.
Lamar's MVP season was Kyler's rookie year, correct?
Correct.
Can't really compare those.
That's not what I'm saying. He's trying to say last season. Okay. Last season to last season.
If you want to compare Lamar and Kyler's second years, be my guest.
Don't do that.
That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying last season, which was Kyler's second season, to Lamar's third season, Kyler Murray put up better passing stats than Lamar.
Why not compare Kyler and Lamar's second season? It was both in the second season.
Because one, obviously, Kyler Murray's a year behind Lamar Jackson, so why would I do that?
And what do you mean? Why don't you compare both of their second seasons?
I understand what you're trying to say, obviously, because Lamar Jackson's MVP season was his second season.
No, I'm just saying because at that there are similar parts of their career. They're both in their second years.
Okay.
You can I think it'd be more fair if you compare Lamar's second season to Kyler's second season and Kyler's third season now to Lamar's last season.
So then, by that measure, to a degree, Lamar regressed last year.
He did. To his MVP year, definitely he did. He didn't have the same numbers.
So then Kyler Murray has only continued to improve.
Oh, sure.
So did Lamar not get better this year? I mean, stats.
Were you not comparing this year?
I mean, I know. Stats wise, absolutely. But this whole argument is Kyler versus Lamar.
Correct.
What their stats are going to look like. You didn't tell me. I know Lamar's stats don't look similar to his MVP stats in his third season. I want to know what they look like compared to Kyler, not Lamar. I know Lamar's look different.
And I told you already, if you compared last season, Kyler Murray versus Lamar Jackson, who has a year of experience on Kyler Murray, in year 2, Kyler Murray was better than Lamar.
In year 2, wait, what? Say that again.
In Lamar Jackson's last season, in his third year, Kyler Murray in his year 2 was more impressive than Lamar Jackson last season.
So you're just comparing the 2020 NFL season.
And then now we're going this season where Lamar Jackson does not have a single passing category on Kyler.
Hold up. So you want to compare that season. Okay, tell me one stat from that season then, without looking it up on your computer.
He had 10 rushing touchdowns.
Okay.
That's
you said passing-wise, though.
Okay,
That's what I'm interested in.
Look up the passing. Look it up.
Why don't you have it? You're debating me about it.
King, I know it. I don't need to look to know that he led him in every passing category. Why do you think people came into this season thinking Lamar Jackson can't throw a football?
So people that came into the season thinking that, I didn't think that. I didn't think
really.
That. I knew Lamar Jackson.
That's cap.
I didn't think that.
Is there a cat bun? We need a cat bun.
I didn't think that. I love it. Coming into this season, I didn't think that. I'm just saying if you don't have Kyler Murray stats or Lamar Jackson stats to compare, don't even debate me because you're not even coming prepared.
Pull it up.
Do you want me to pull it up,
It's
King?
too
I don't want
long.
it. Exactly.
We have an entire show to do.
He doesn't want me to do it to him.
Do we
because I pulled up this year, which is what we're talking about right now.
And he beats him in every
and he has him in. Look it up. It is funny. All green. Nothing.
Do we want to take an hour doing this segment alone?
I mean, King, you keep coming back with me. I'm going to come back.
No, I'm just saying, do you want to do an hour doing this segment alone? Because we have a show to do.
We could go on to the next
topic. So I'm saying,
King.
if you came unprepared for the topic, that's on you. You didn't come prepared for the Lamar debate. You just had this season's stats and thought it was fine. That's on you.
And last season, I just gave you facts, King.
You just gave me rushing touchdowns. That's all you gave me.
I told you if we went and looked at the passing stats, Kyler would have it. But we don't have to do that. Let's go to the next topic.
If you want, look it up.
All right, I'll look it up as we go to the next topic. Would that make you happy?
Okay.
Sweet.
That would make me happy.
Cool.